coaches on the call tonight. I know I'm going to miss someone, so please forgive me. I know Shane Fryer is on the call, our 12-star Diamond Elite coach from the Northeast. We've got a couple coaches that joined us in LA for NLC, which I know Emily was at that last year. So thank you for making it back home safely, even with the storms and delays. And we got quite the crew here tonight, so I'm not going to waste too much time doing intros. On the call tonight, guys, how it'll work is this. We do have 3-time Team Cup champion, 2-time elite coach, number 39 coach in the network, one of the top coaches in all of Canada, Emilie Robidas, on the call. And she is not doing the call in French. Sorry, Emily. It will be in English tonight. But she's joining us to share some of her tips and insight with how to have a successful Team Cup month. How it'll work is you guys see the chat box that's open now. This is being recorded, okay? And so we will repost this for you and your teams on the region pages. You can share that however you see fit, use it on calls. What I encourage you to do is to take notes, absolutely. Learn from Emily. She's figured out Team Cup pretty well, okay? And in the chat box that we have open right now, if you do not see that, I just said hi to everybody. Throughout the call, if you have questions, feel free to post these here. At the end of Emily's training and what she shares, we're going to open it up for a Q&A. You guys can grill her and absolutely grill her. She likes questions, right, Em? So she's ready for it. So have those questions in mind, anything about Team Cup that you want to ask, and we'll get going. So with that said, my pleasure to welcome to the call to the Northeast region, Emilie Robidas, 3-time Team Cup champion and 2-time elite coach. Emily, can you hear me?
Je peux t'entendre. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. Let's do this in French. That's what you said. I didn't understand. Not sure. No,
I'm sure. You're really going to throw us all off.
It's funny because today I did 10 back-to-back calls with my coaches, and it was in French. So now I get to work my gymnastic in English. So let's do this. Excited to talk to you guys tonight. I have a presentation I have set up for you, and I will put it off right now. Let me just share my screen. Okay, can you see my presentation? Yeah, thank you. All right, it's always funny when I start the presentation because you kind of not know, like I can't see you guys anymore, so ping me, whatever. If you can't hear me anymore, I'll have my phone beside me. All right, so I took this image from Team Beachbody and I love what it says. It says step up your game, and what I want to be talking to you about tonight is to step it up with the cup because it is a challenge. And I want you guys to keep that in mind when you go in February, to really challenge yourself, to have huge goals, and to really raise your own standards. All right, so this is a challenge. This will help you create amazing momentum if you decide to run. I love this video from Eric Worre. If you haven't seen it, it's how to recruit 20 people in 30 days. You can find it on YouTube. And it's basically what the cup is allowing us to do, because this is a time to really go all in, go full force, and stretch yourself and set huge goals. So this is an example of what he's sharing in his video. He talks about how slow and steady doesn't always win the race. And he shares his interviews he talks about having interviews with very successful network marketers that earn 6-7 figure. And they all had this common trait, and they all shared that they had the majority of their success came from a burst of activities in a short period of time. And I think this is what the Team Cup is allowing us to do. It's really to go from maybe inviting 2 people a day to inviting 10 people a day, to raise your standards a double, to really achieve goals that you thought were impossible. But then when you reach them, you realize that you're really just limiting your own potential, and that opens up your mind to all the possibilities that you can, all the things you can achieve really in your life and in your business. I love this whole idea of the analogy of like pumping water from a well. If you want the water to get to the top, you need to pump very, very fast at first. Like you can't just slow down in between the pumps and just, take it easy. You have to pump very fast to get the water to the top. When it gets to the top, you don't have to keep doing it very fast, but you got to keep a certain pace to keep reaching goals or keep getting the water out. So, and then you decide what pace you want to go at. I feel like this is what we do with Team Cup. we run, and then we can kind of surf their wave, but we got to keep being consistent with our daily behaviors as coaches. But really, it's just an awesome opportunity for us to step it up, really. All right, how to maximize your results. I'm going to be sharing a few things that I do with my team. Maybe you're already doing them. Maybe it's going to reinforce doing them for you. But this is all I'm doing with my team. First up, if you haven't done it right now, you want to set up a Facebook group for your team. Well, first of all, if you're not registered, post on your team page. Ask your sponsor. Just go out there and say, hey, I want to be in a team. I know a lot of my newer coaches felt like they weren't too new, or they didn't know if they could be in a team. They didn't want to feel like they were not keeping the pace with teammates. And what I told them is that what matters is that you find partners that have similar goals to you. So you might not team up with people that are shooting for like 30 Success Club points or 35. But if you can find people that are shooting for like maybe hitting Success Club for the first time in their business, just go and talk to people and try to form a team. This is so important. This is such a great opportunity to really learn from all of your team members and to learn to push your limits. So you're going to want to brainstorm a team name together. I love doing that. And it might sound cliche and maybe like a little, like maybe it doesn't mean so much, but for me, finding a team name is super important because I want to build like a vision around the team name. I want to like create graphics with the team name. I want to have like quotes that are related to team name. So you want to brainstorm together, find something funny, something that you can relate to, something that speaks to all of you. And then you're going to want to create a graphic with all your team members. My husband made a super funny one. He called his team Mission Slim Possible. They're all dudes together, and he made like funny graphics, and the whole team laughed when they posted it. So yes, it is about challenging yourself. Yes, it is about it's a challenge, but you can also take that as an opportunity to enjoy the business and have some fun, create awesome relationships with people on your team or different teams. It doesn't matter as long as you're forming a team, right? So you want to set up weekly Zoom calls with your team. When I first started my first team cups, I didn't know Zoom, so we would use a Voxer, and I think at that time we didn't have the Facebook vocal messages. So basically, we just found that way to talk to each other through vocal messages. Whatever you find, like whatever ways work for you to stay, to be able to communicate every single day and stay connected, use that. I just think Zoom is awesome because you get to see people, and there's this whole interaction. So, and it's free, right? So you want to set up Zoom calls, at least set one up like right away if it's not done for your team to kind of plan what you want to do together. And you want to start planning and working now because the team cup might be from February 1st to the end of the month, but really it starts now or even like 2 weeks before the team cup. And don't worry if you didn't start right now or before, it doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is that you want to plan ahead of time and you want to start up strong. So February 1st, you're already having people that are ready to buy, already having coaches that are ready to sign up, or coaches who are going to rank advance. And just a side note on that, I'm super excited because now we have 3 points for rank advancement as per the rules that I read when I did the presentation. And before it was only 1 point, so it's awesome opportunity to also focus on team growth, right? Okay, so you want to make sure that you're starting off the month strong. Other idea is to focus on your goals. So team goal is your team commitment. It's super important to work as a team, especially if you're going for like crazy goals like top 10 or like top 3 or winning the cup. Everyone needs to bring their A game, so it's super important that everybody knows what the team goal is and everyone works together and they agree on what the goals are. So you want to talk about what your team goal is, what prizes you want to earn. Do you want to go to LA? Do you want to get the Beats headphones? Whatever you want, like just make sure that everybody's on the same page and they know exactly what they need to do to get there. Want to think about your why. Jeff mentioned it at the beginning of the call, like how you can reinforce your why when you're doing the cup. It's super important that you share that with your partners too. Why do you want to be in a team cup? What it represents for you, and what it means, and just the fact that you're going to be putting it in writing, it makes it clearer, and it helps you commit to the team as well. So you want to set up personal goals too. You want to make this your best month ever, and I always say that, and I don't mean that just in recruiting or getting successful points. I want you to think about some aspects of your business that you want to improve, whether it's being consistent, whether it is doing more personal development, whether it's to be more consistent with your workouts, whatever it is that you've been telling yourself in the last few weeks or few months, oh, I should really do this. I know if I do this, this is going to change my business. I know, like, think about these things and commit to them. So it's not just about successful points. It's not just about Team Cup. It's also about your own personal goals and what you want to achieve during that month. So just think about how you can make this month your best month ever. And it could be just in terms of committing to the business and being there daily and showing up every day. I just wanted to show you guys the prices. I'm sure you've seen them, just to give you an idea of what you should be shooting for as a team. So, you know, we have different tier prizes, then we have the prizes for different ranks from the top 10, and then a grand prize to a trip to LA. So whatever you decide, just make this a team goal and know exactly what you need to get there. When I set up goals, I always start with the big picture and what we want to achieve. So let's say we want to have the 3-tier prizes. I'm going to get more into details after that. But first off, I want to say, let's say we go with successful points and we decide how many successful points we want to do as a team. I always divide them in weeks so I can keep track every week if we are actually on track to reaching that monthly goal. So you always want to break them down in weeks and also have an idea of how you have to break that down in daily activities you need to take action on to make sure that you're reaching those weekly goals. So you divide that by 4 weeks, right? And then you want to divide all those goals between the 5 coaches. So I always go from there, whether you're an awesome retailer, you make so many points. For me, it's super important that everybody knows that everybody should bring in the same amount of points. And I know I have coaches that are scared and are like, I can't do this. But I've had so many new coaches or coaches that would hit like Success Club 10 or Success Club 5, and then they went all in, they pushed themselves, they invited like crazy, and then they had 40 points, 50 points, and they never had that before. So it just goes to show that you can do this too. If you've never had more than 10 points, it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means you have to work differently, and you can totally do that. So example of team goal, it could be winning the 3-tier prizes. And that's a really good goal to go for, and I think it's very achievable. So I think it's something that all the teams should aim to. And basically, you need to have 75 points for the team, and everybody needs to reach Success Club 10 individually. So, I mean, this is totally doable. So what I would do is I would make sure that every coach is working towards getting 15 points, not Success Club 10. Everybody needs to bring the same amount of points in the team. That's the idea I want to put in the team. I want us to work equally. Winning strategies. So you want to have constant communication. Like I said, whether it's through Facebook, I basically am always on Facebook, so you can create a message thread between your team members. You can post on your team page, your Team Cup page, whatever works for you. Just make sure you stay in touch every single day. You're going to want to share everything. So this is not the time to keep your secrets to you or whatever works. You want to share everything that works. Invitations, your follow-ups, the tools you're using, the posts on your page that get the most traction. Really, it's time to just share, and also take from the members. So if you need help, or you're struggling with inviting, or you're not getting the traction on your post on your page, ask your team. Ask them if they're having success with these things and how maybe you can benefit from their advice. So this is like the time to really exchange and share everything. As a leader, if you're leading a team, I would suggest that you always have a countdown for the daily points. So what I do is I get up in the morning, I post a motivational picture, I add the date, and then I tag my team members and I say, please add your points throughout the day. So whenever someone sells a challenge pack, signs up a coach, we celebrate it like crazy. We post it on the page, and everybody goes edit their comments. So we try to keep like 6 comments under the picture. So 5 members are adding their numbers, and then we have a total. So we always know where we're at, and like we don't wait till the end of the day. Every time we add points, we edit it. So we always have an idea of like, okay, well, we're on track. It's like super motivating to see the points growing right there. So I do that every single day. And then at the end of the day, let's say, whatever time you want to close it at, because when it's Team Cup, maybe you're going to go to bed late. But whatever time you close it at, you're going to have your final count, and then you want to set up a next goal for the next day. You want to work with a contact list. It's super important. I tell that to my team all the time. If you don't have a contact list, you don't have a business. So don't think you're going to memorize everybody you're talking to. Plus, you're going to be adding a lot of new people to your list for the Team Cup Challenge. So basically, you must have a place where you have all your names. And when you start up the month, I always tell my teammates to have at least 100 names of people ready to invite to a challenge group. So you want to raise your standard, and you want to start inviting now. So maybe you're usually inviting 2 people a day. Well, I would say for the next 10 days, go for 10. And with your list of 100 people, and it's going to give you a good pace to start off the month, and you're already running. You need to follow up. And I say it more than once because it's super important. You're talking to a lot of people. Again, your contact list is going to be so important for that, because you can see who didn't reply, who you should be following up with. I like to use also pen and paper, especially when it comes to Team Cup. I keep my in place, so the people that I have like a good conversation going with them, I always have like paper. For me, it makes it more real when I have it on paper than when it's on a computer, and I have it right under my eyes, so it helps me focus on my follow-up. So if it's not something you're doing, maybe that would be something that works for you. But what matters is that you find something that works for you, so you're focused and you make sure you're following up with everybody. You're going to invite all the people that told you no in the past, and the ones that already told you about their goals. This is when consistency can work its magic, because if you've been very consistent in the last few months, or I don't know how long you've been a coach for, but if you've been consistent with building relationships with people and asking about their goals and just, getting interested in them, you have a long list of people you can invite to your challenge group, and you're not coming out of nowhere and saying, hey, my name is this, and I don't know you, but I would like you to join my challenge group. So really, this is all about consistency. I said Team Cup is not 4 weeks, it's 6 weeks, but it's actually all the time. It's all the relationships you've built before. And not everybody's going to say yes the first time, but maybe this time when they get your invite, this way, maybe they will say yes. So I was actually so thankful so many times during Team Cups, because so many people were ready to buy at that time, and they told me no in the past, and I was like, oh, well, that's a good timing. So that's a good thing. Again, invite. It's a numbers game, so I get asked often, how do you get 80 success club points? How do you get this? How do you do it? Well, you need to talk to more people. There's no secret. It's all about talking to more people. The more you invite, the better you get at it. So your ratio becomes better. So maybe you start off and you talk to 30 people and 1 say yes, and then the more you get better at it, you get more credibility, you're more confident, you're building your page, you have more people following you. So it becomes, I don't want to say easier, but you become better, right? It doesn't get easier, you become better. And then maybe you're going to have a better ratio and invite 30 people, maybe 6 are going to say yes. So really it's about inviting and going with high numbers if you want to have high results. And I would also recommend you take notes, right? Make sure you know how many people you've invited throughout the month, because it's going to be very interesting at the end of the month to say, hey, I got that many success club points, and look how many people I had to invite. So it's going to tell you, it's like a ratio that you can keep for next following months, and be like, okay, well, this month, if my goal is to hit that many points, well, that means I need to talk to that many people and invite that many people. You're going to want to ask for referrals. So people in your challenge groups, your current customers can give you great referrals. If there might not be coaches on your team, so everybody who's in your challenge group or who's getting great results, they can refer friends to you. And referrals are awesome. There's already this trust that's built because it's a friend referring a friend. So they're trusting their friends. So it's a really good way to add to your list and get more points. You want to share your goals with your family and friends, and this is super important, especially if you're going like all in. You're like, okay, honey, this month, well, maybe I won't be so much on the laundry side and the cleaning side, but this is very important for me, and I might get late on certain things, but I really want to focus on this business because it means so much to me. And just explain what it means to your spouse and your family, and how important it is for you to just do this, and how you are committed to your team, really. Other winning strategies: you want to personalize each invitation. I like to attach a picture. I used to use pictures that we had like at headquarters when we worked out with Autumn. If you do have that, that's great. But like whatever you want to attach, I feel it's more personal. And I usually would use also the picture that I created. If I do like a challenge group post, I would use that picture. I just feel like it's making it more appealing. And I always personalize each invitation. No copy pasting of like, you want to really be in the conversation mode more than copy pasting. This doesn't work. So I always like start off by personalizing my messages, always mentioning their name, talking about something we talked previously. Focus on them first before I deliver my message. So it's those details that make a huge difference, I believe. You want to be creative and enthusiastic, so you can use vocal messages. They're so great. Like when you talk to people and they hear your voice, they feel your passion, they feel how enthusiastic you are. This makes such a good difference. I mean, this can change the whole thing. And also, like, you're behind your computer. If you're like me, you're working a lot on Facebook, and it just makes it more real. Like, you're not a robot behind a screen. You're actually a human being trying to help. So it just really creates that trust more quickly, I feel. You want to create a sense of urgency. So maybe you're going to be saying, hey, I'm creating a group of 10 ladies who want to get in shape, blah, 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 whatever you're saying. I'm inviting you first. Please get back to me if you want to save your spot. The deadline for signing up is this time. You just want to help people make that decision to write you back. So you want to create that sense of urgency. I like this one. Do not invite strangers. I actually based this presentation on what I did with my team. And I think it's super important that we don't go because it is a challenge, but we have to always remember what our mission is, and our mission is to help people. So it's not about us like sending invites to like a bunch of random people that we don't know, that we don't get interested in. Like, don't do that. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, and it's not what we do. This is not what we do. So you always want to focus on the relationship first. Post your next challenge group on your page and be original. So what I mean by that is you want to first put your face on your post. Don't go with generic images. I mean, I personally don't believe in that. I always have myself on my pictures, and I always have like a picture that will draw attention. So I will always work on the image to make it like clear, to make it pop, to use bright colors. So really the image is there to catch people's attention. People are scrolling down their news feed all the time. They need to have something that's going to pop, and they're going to say, hey, what's this? So the image is really there to get people's attention. Then on your description, you're going to want to be talking in more details on what you're about to share, what kind of challenge it is. And what I like to do is really focus on the why. So not necessarily focus on the how and the what, but I will use words that are related to feelings, emotions, you're going to get more energy, you're going to be more confident, you're going to have a sense of pride for accomplishing something like that. I really focus on that. Telling your story, too, is something super important. I know you probably heard about the feel, felt, found way of telling your story, and I feel like this is such a good way for people to connect to you. When you tell your story and you relate to people, and I find these posts are the ones that get the most traction, and the ones that look least like an ad, really. One is just someone, a real human being, telling their story and genuinely trying to help people. These are the best posts, in my opinion, and these are the ones that I get people to message me privately. We must see you on a picture. I love autumn. I love the 21-day fixed containers, but anyways, that's what I teach my team. I don't think it works for me. It never worked. I don't get traction from that. I think our strength is coaching. People need to see their coach. We need to focus on how we can make a difference in their life, provide a solution, and how we're special, or like, we can really connect with them. So you want to have also a special theme for your challenge group. So generic terms like challenge group for the outside world of Beachbody, it doesn't mean anything. So you want to think about like something that people can relate to. So you want to be creative, right? Oh, this is stratégie gagnante. This is French, so it's winning strategies. Somehow didn't change.
This is great, Emilie. We're going to learn Team Cup strategies and a second language tonight, so thank you for that.
That's funny, but just remove like the yellow part that says winning strategies. Sorry about that, but it's English, the rest of it. I'm doing good on time, right? I'm almost done. Okay, so you want to promote your page constantly to get more contacts. So this is something I've been implementing since pretty much day one. I had a Facebook page, and I started to
She says to invest 10% of your revenue in your business.
Really clue what I was doing, but
she says
I was
10%.
a good student and I took notes, and that's what I would recommend.
Invest
you doing.
10% of your revenue into your business.
Again, it's about consistency. Maybe you're going to increase your investment in ads during Team Cups if you want to get more contacts and get more visibility.
Didn't you say 25?
Those are things that I teach my team too, and I think it's super important to take notes and see what works for you, because I'm no specialist in running ads or anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I worked like through action, and I took notes, and I was like, okay, well, this works, this doesn't work so much. And sometimes something works one day and then the following day it doesn't. So you really need to adapt consistently. And the idea of investing 10% of your revenue in your business is super important too. This is a business. So for me, like investing a few dollars a week in marketing and gifts, or, it's just part of the game. So it's part of it. And we're so fortunate as coaches that we don't have to spend money like on a warehouse or anything. We're very fortunate. So this is minimum we can do. You want to set up goals that scare you and make you step out of your comfort zone. So yes, this is a quote that I love, and it says, the greater danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark. And this is Michelangelo. And I just feel that this is so great. I heard a few of my coaches say, well, I fix a goal, not too ambitious, so I'm sure I'm going to hit it. I'm like, no, that's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to do. You want to shoot higher, and you want to work for higher, so you have a greater chance to actually reach your real goal. So shoot for double. If you want success club 10, then work for 20, and think how many people you need to invite and talk to get to that 20. You have a greater chance to achieve your success club 10 if you're working for 20. You want to commit to something you've never done. So this is another thing I tell my team. Whatever it is, if you've never shared your story on social media, maybe you never had a challenge group post on your page, maybe you never invited anyone, whatever it is that you're scared of, this is the month to do it. And this is probably the thing that you must do right now to help you grow.
I found the beginning to be helpful.
I know it's scary, but what's so awesome about doing that
I found the beginning
is
to be helpful, not so much now.
You realize it ain't so bad, and you're like, man, I can do a lot of things. I thought I was scared, but it's not so scary. And then you just, you remove the own limits you put on yourself, and it opens your mind to everything you can achieve. You want to be creative and work as a team. Again, it's about sharing. This is a team Beachbody. This is a team Beachbody Cup. We work as a whole together. Visualization and positive thinking is something that's super important to me. I always have nice graphics in my team. I always have positive quotes, and I think you have to see it yourself to believe it. And then you really, like, for me, graphics help me so much. And I always have, like, I would put, like, our team and say, winning Team Cup of this month. I always, depending on the goals that we have, I put that right there, and I want us to see it all the time. You want to share your struggles, but always focus on solutions. So Team Cup is a great way to talk about things that you want to focus on, but always go back on solution mode. I think great leaders are always in solution mode. So it's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to struggle with some things, but always just, don't stay in that negative thinking. Get out of it and think about solutions. And this is how you're going to grow and learn. So this is what I had for you guys today. This is what I wanted to share with you. I think we have time for questions.
Yeah, Emilie, holy smokes. So here's the thing, guys. I've heard Emilie talk about Team Cup before, having worked there for, I don't even know way too long for her, but almost a year and a half in Canada. So, but even myself, I found myself taking a few pages of notes here. So really, really good job. Yeah, you definitely deserve that water. So we did get a ton of questions in the chat box, and you're getting some props now. So I'll just start racking these off to you real quick if you're ready for them, and then we'll let everybody get back to their familias and you back to the in-laws. Thanks for taking time out while you're in the process of a move too. So, so let me jump over here because we actually had a ton of questions about inviting.
Okay.
But so we're gonna get to those. But because I'm the host of this call, I want to ask mine first. I have that ability, so I'm going to ask mine first. So I wanted to ask you, after Team Cups, you got all this engagement from like new challengers, maybe new coaches, your coaches that are on your team. What do you do to kind of keep those leaders engaged after Cup? You know what I mean? Because there's such a high, there's a lot of momentum. What do you do to keep them engaged moving forward?
That's a great question. And when you're bringing a lot of people in your business, it's super important to have the tools in place to make sure that they are getting the support that they deserve, right? So if you're bringing more people, you need to have those systems in place. So for me, it's challenge groups. For me, it's coach training, and it's already set up, right? So I need to be there personally and engage with them, but I have like a whole process when someone signs up as a challenge group. I plug them in with a challenge pack. I plug them in a challenge group. I have my prep week all set up, so they're not left alone, and I can really plug them in the system, if you will. So this is what I do, and this is what I teach my team. So really, like, it's a lot of work too after the month following, because you have all these people that are relying on your help, right? So I think that's what I would say. I'd say to make sure that you have systems in place, or work with your upline and see what's in place to know that you have the help there to support people and make sure they're getting all the support they need.
Awesome. Great response. And that's a big point, I think, is to make sure you're ready for Team Cup month, absolutely, but ready to follow up, because you are going to have momentum and growth. We'll get to the rest of these questions here. I wanted to just point out a couple things that stood out to me. I saw a lot of people taking notes too. I love that you the importance you put on collaboration and communication with your team, that you're updating points throughout the day. That's a cool concept. I know that not everybody can be connected throughout the day. That's totally understandable. But trying to just stay up to date on that, I think, is key to kind of motivate and drive people. I love the share struggles and shortcomings, but focus on solutions. Okay, you got to acknowledge what maybe isn't working, but find a solution to it. And then lastly, you were pretty bold in saying you never invite strangers. And so the inviting concept, I think, is intriguing a lot of coaches. And I've probably, 7 of the 10 questions, which we may not get to all 10 questions, but 7 of the 10 questions are about inviting. So we're going to grill you on that a little bit if you're ready.
All right.
Okay, so this first one comes from Angela Piasaurus, one of our coaches up in the Westchester, New York region. And she said, can you just kind of give us a high-level overview of what your inviting strategy looks like?
All right. So I'm going to be completely honest, like I am. And no, but the reality is I don't like inviting. I don't think anyone does. I think we feel uncomfortable doing it. I did it. I'm still doing it. But the key thing is I work with my page a lot. I share my journey on my page a lot. I share my Shakeology on my page. I share my workouts on my page, and I have monthly challenge group posts and talking about that. So I've been able to create a system that works for me, so that people message me privately. So I talk to new people pretty much every single day, people that will get to me and ask about, what do you do for this? And I just add value, right? I add value, I answer their questions. I'm not putting my challenge group message right away in their head. I'm just there, I'm giving them time. But when Team Cup comes, and I know these people have been struggling with their nutrition, and maybe I didn't get to the inviting point then I have a big list. I go back to my messages, I go back to my contact list, and who did I not invite? The invitation process for me has to be extremely natural. And when you're actually at the point of inviting someone, you're really just giving them a solution. They told you about their goals. They told you they're struggling with going through a program, and you're like, hey, this is how I put it. I'm like, hey, this is what I do as a coach. So let me just give you an idea of what I do with as a coach, and you decide if this is the kind of challenge you're ready to take. And I present to them the challenge, the Beachbody Challenge, right? And I explain to them what it is and how they're going to be coached, how they're going to be plugged in a group, and everybody commits to the same thing: fitness program, Shakeology. And this is kind of how I do it. So I will have moments where I go for Team Cup and I have a big list of people that I've been talking to, but I didn't really, maybe I invited them, maybe they said no, maybe they didn't get back to me at all. I'll just go back to them. So for me, it's never a cold invitation or a cold call. It's always someone that I talk to and they already sort of asked for my help. Maybe they were not ready at the time. Maybe, you have so many people need so many exposures before they're going to take this step, and not everybody's ready to listen to your message. That's your job as a coach, to be extremely consistent every single day. I have people messaging me. They're like, I've been following you for 2 years. I've been following you for 6 months. They see me every day posting the same thing. I'm still there after 3 years. So like I said, it's not just about Team Cup. It's not just about this week, next week. It's about, committing for long term. This is how you're building trust. And I have a lot of people are watching you guys. They're not commenting on your stuff. They're not liking it. You do the same thing. You go on Facebook, you see stuff, you're like, oh, that's cute. You don't like, you don't comment. Doesn't mean you didn't see it. So people are watching you, and that's your job, to be extremely consistent. So honestly, I never really I did it. I mean, I'm still doing it, but I never felt super uncomfortable to invite people, because I always position it in a way that hey, you talked to me about that. This is what I think I might have a solution that would work for you. You want to take a look at it and you decide. I always put it in their hands. I never push anyone. I never try to convince anyone. I really present it as a solution. And usually people are very open. I mean, this is kind of what I do.
No, that's great. That's great. And to add to that, I remember a case study when I was doing my MBA. They talked about marketing messages, which obviously when we're inviting and trying to help people change their lives, we're not just marketing to them, right? We're actually genuinely trying to do that. But they were talking about a marketing campaign that Coca-Cola did, and they found through this study that on average, individuals like you and me, anyone, it takes us on average 33 to 34 times of hearing the same marketing message. Maybe it's in a different forum. So maybe seeing an ad for a can of Coke on Facebook, or hearing Emilie say, hey, Shane, let's go get a Coke, whatever it is. On average, it takes individuals 33 to 34 times before they actually make a decision to buy that Coke. And it's the same thing with getting involved in challenge group. And I love that point, Emilie, of just being we hear it so much, guys, right? It's being consistent, but you never know who's watching. You never know what life situation will change. So here's a follow-up question for that, Em. Okay. We had 3 coaches ask this, so I'm going to put you on the spot. They love the idea of those voice invitations that you were talking about. Are you able to give a quick example of what one of those may sound like? And it may be kind of hard to just remember off the top of your head, but can you do that for us?
I will do the live translation.
Yeah.
If I were to do that, it's the same idea of what I do with my invitations and if I'm writing. It's talking to people. So I would keep it short and just go straight to the point. And it's not to strangers. It's to people that know exactly who I am. And we've talked before, so I'm not coming out of the blue. And I just really just go and say, hey, I'm setting up my next challenge group. We're going to be focusing on this for 21 days or whatever challenge group you're doing. I know we talked before about you getting started. Are you ready now? Because I'm opening spot. Just let me know if you're interested and get back to me. I'll be happy to count you in. Like seriously, keep it super simple. Don't go into details. Don't go write a super long message with so many details. It's not about that. It's about being enthusiastic, being you, people hearing your voice, and just say, hey, I thought of you. And people usually will be super happy you thought of them. They'd be
Right.
like, how thoughtful of you. You know,
That's good.
in life outside Beachbody, people don't go message their friends to always know how they're doing. That's our job. To say, hey, how are you? How you been? I've been thinking of you. How are the kids? You know?
It's always that easy, right? But it really is. So awesome job, Em. So I'm going to ask you two more questions and we'll wrap up, okay?
Yeah.
I'm sure Damien is just loving having you on this call because now he can go and do whatever he wants. Damien's Emily's husband, by the way.
I think he heard you. You laughed.
Which, by the way, since we're in the Northeast, it's kind of Jimmy Fallon country. Emily's husband is a dead ringer for Jimmy Fallon.
Apparently, I
Go
never
look at
thought
go.
that.
Go look at it on Facebook. He's a dead doppelganger for him. So, anyways, sorry. So two more questions. This comes from one of our more tenured coaches, Renee St. Pierre. She asked, you were talking about finding 80 people to invite or building a list of 100 people or whatever. Where do you find those individuals? You know, as an experienced coach as well, Emily, how are you finding and expanding that warm market to be able to do those invites? Any quick tips for us?
Yes, working with a Facebook page. For me, that's been 99% of my business has been built through my Facebook page. I just recently had one of my best friends from high school joining me, like recently, and I've been a coach for 3 years. And now my, families, like some members of family are joining. Like, it's been harder for me to get people that I know get in more than strangers, which is kind of weird, but I think we've kind of experienced that, everybody. I don't know. I felt maybe it was easier for me to deliver my message to strangers, but through my page. Yeah. So since day one, I've been focusing on that, building my brand, and I've learned so much. My page didn't get so much traction, but I just stuck with it, and I found myself. So one of the key things is, and what I teach my team is building your brand on your page, finding who your target audience is, who your perfect customer is. Because we make this mistake. We want to help everybody, but we're not going to help everybody. And we're differently equipped to help different kinds of people. And that's the beauty of it, because there's room for everybody in this business, because we're attracting different kinds of people. So for me, just doing the exercise of like writing down who I am, what are my strengths, what do I like in life, what motivates me, really have a specific idea of who my target audience is and who my perfect customer and my perfect coach is. And that's a person I talk to every single day on my page. And I'm very unapologetic about that. I don't try to please everybody. I try to be nice with everybody. But I'm really good at like sharing my values, my philosophy on life. And I talk about that all the time on my page. So I get people that are like me. And when they make the move to message me, they already feel like they know me because I've been very open on my page. And this is work, because I was not like that on day one, and I was not like that after a year. But when you learn to open up, you get people that will naturally come to you. And this is how I've been really able to create a lot of new contacts and people that are already kind of interested in what I'm doing. They come to my page, they watch me, they see I'm consistent, they see I work out, they have an idea of who I am. So, and I really create interaction on your page. It doesn't matter if you have 25,000 people following you. If you're not engaging with people, chances are you're not going to turn them into customers or coaches. So it's about engagement, really. This is how I've built my whole business.
Good. Awesome job, Emily. So we had probably about 5 or 6 more questions come through, guys, but we're out of time. So I'm sure we could spend another 2 hours talking it, but I want to give a huge, huge shout out. First of all, not first to Emily, but first to all of you guys, again, for taking the time out of your busy schedules away from families, teams, jobs, whatever it is, because this really shows that you are invested in being successful, not just as a coach, but as a life changer, right, and in influencing people. And obviously want to give a big shout out to Emilie Robidas. I admire her a ton. She juggles things well in the middle of a move across Canada, okay, from British Columbia over back to Quebec and kind of in between the living spaces, in the middle of getting ready for a team cup herself. Here's what I would add to what Emilie has said, guys, is no matter where you're at, if you're an experienced coach, if you are a new coach that's trying to figure out team cup for the first time, if you've done this before and you're wanting a tier prize or whatever those goals are, if you don't know what those goals are, identify them like Emilie said. But you can really get the most out of team cup if you want it. Everything that Emilie said, you heard it. I heard it multiple times. She said, if you do this, if you get your team together, if you set goals, you'll get as much as you want to get out of it, right? And so you really got to figure out, okay, how am I going to get myself and my team committed and dialed into this? Because it really can propel you to some big things in the first quarter and throughout the year. So, Emilie, thank you so much. Guys, you will notice in the chat box, I just posted again the registration link to get your teams registered. This call, because there's been some questions as well, this call will be posted in both Northeast Facebook pages. Both the links will be posted there. And Emilie, thank you so much again. Merci beaucoup pour votre temps ce soir.
Thank you guys. Go get it.
You know that the Northeast team is going to win the cup now.
I don't know.
You shared all your secrets.
Well, it's been 5 times in my downline, in my team line. So we're fighting for it, guys. So you better bring it.
All right. Awesome, Emilie. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a great night, everybody. Appreciate it.